For me, like a healthy weight is like when your body's healthy, like you're physically healthy, but you're also mentally healthy as well. Like you could be a healthy weight, but like mentally you don't see it, or like you want to be thinner or whatever, or like you want to change your body. So then it's not a healthy weight because you're not confident or happy in it. But like when I was like 22 or 23, like it was very different. Like it's hard to like be confident in yourself, and like you're very easily influenced. And like that's at 22 or 23. Like I graduated university, I was working, like imagine like these girls in high school who don't have any life experience, and like they're opening the same Instagram that I am and looking at the same pictures and seeing what these girls look like, and like they don't have like the knowledge of like knowing that it's not real. And I've had like my struggles like with disordered eating from like restricting, and then like on the flip side like having like binging problems, and like it's really hard because like who do you like there's almost like a shame to it. Like it's hard to like go and talk to someone about it because like people like sometimes they don't get it, like especially with like the binge eating. Like some people like think binge eating is like just like plain overeating, and like that's not what it is. Like it's literally like you have like no control over what you're doing, and like how do you like explain that to someone? Like they don't get it. And like when I finally like did talk to one of my friends, like she actually also had like a binge eating problem, and like we had never talked about it ever, and like all of a sudden it was like we both had like this common thread, and like neither one of us had ever talked to anyone about it because we both felt like embarrassed about it. And like
but like the important thing is to like get rid of all the negative things in your life, like you know, unfollow the people that are making you like not want to eat or all that stuff. Like that's a start. Having someone to talk to, I mean, there are like let's talk resources that you can go to.
And if you can afford them, you know, writing in a journal is always good. Or if you don't have other people or a support system that you think is good for you, write in a journal your thoughts. You know, sometimes reading it back or saying things out loud makes you realize the reality of things and maybe how silly you're being, or how come to realizations that you can make a change for the better.
I think, like definitely like journaling helps. It's just you have to recognize, I guess, like a lot of girls might not think that they need to do that, or that it is an issue, and they might write it down and be like, well, I would never say this to my best friend, but like like some people are just so insecure in themselves that like they would never say that to their friend, but they think like they deserve it. You know what I mean? Like there's like a very
if you wouldn't go up to your friend and say, hey, you look really fat today, then why do you talk to yourself like that?
And like girls have to get out of that mindset. Like I would never say that to one of my friends, but I would have no problem looking in the mirror and being like, wow, you look terrible, and I would say it to myself. Like, but I would never say that if my roommate came in my room and was like, hey, do you like what I'm wearing? Like I would never be like, no, you look awful. Like you know, like
we need to give ourselves that same respect.
Exactly. And like how do you teach girls to do that? Like how do they learn to respect themselves? I think it's hard. Like it is hard because first you have to acknowledge like that you have that issue, and like that can be hard in and of itself. Like it took me like until I was like 23 to admit that I had like an eating disorder. Like it took me that long, and I'd had it since I was probably like 5 or 6. Like that's almost 20 years of my life. Like so there was nothing to help me like in high school because like I wouldn't acknowledge that I had the issue. Like it was just like part of my life. So but like it's again like just finding like you can like talk to someone about it. Like
do you feel like now that that part of your life is over, or do you feel like even though all the progress you've made, like that will always still kind of be there and be a part of you?
I think it'll always like be a part of my life. Like I have like pretty much eliminated like binging, but like it still happens to me, and like when it does I'm like, oh my god, but like I know it's like better than it used to be, and like it's not as bad, and like
you always improve.
Exactly. If it does happen, like if you are anorexic or bulimic or like you binge, like you're not gonna be perfect, and it's not gonna change right away, and like knowing you're gonna mess up and like make mistakes, and like just like getting back on and like being like, okay, like moving on from this point, and like finding someone to talk to about it. Like I have my friends who I can talk to about it, which is really good, and like that's great. But some people, again, like it took me 23 years to like find someone to talk to about it. So like how do you, these young girls need someone that they can turn to in those situations, and like not just themselves. Like journaling is great and reading books is great, but like if you can't help yourself, like you need someone who can help you.
And I think that kind of hearing you say that almost makes it sound like an addiction. You know, that's kind of if people are addicted to alcohol or drugs, you know, they need to be able to admit it and seek help. You know, they need to put themselves in therapy. If someone else tries to force them, it's not going to happen.
Can't help someone that doesn't help themselves.
Exactly.
And then I think that because of that, it kind of makes you realize too how much so many women could be, you know, addicted to thinking about food, whether it be, oh, I want to eat this but I shouldn't, or oh, I'm going to eat all of this, you know, depending on whatever your outlook is. It could be an addiction to food or an addiction to thinking about food or thinking about weight loss all the time. I would say there's not honestly a day that goes by, or maybe even an hour, that I don't think, should I or should I not eat or do this? And I think that's really sad, and I would like to eventually get to a point where that's not the case. And I hope that there'll be more talks like this, that there's more awareness, and people will feel more comfortable in their bodies and in any space.